Coming up on TekThing, Dell's UltraSharp 32 8K monitor, Apple's HomePod, do I need a new NAS, scanning business cards with Android, and so much more, all coming up on TekThing. Thank you, patrons. Without your support via patreon.com/TekThing, we would not be able to make the show for you each and every week. Join the crew that makes TekThing possible at patreon.com/TekThing. Thank you.
I'm Shannon Morse.
And I'm Patrick Norton.
And this is TekThing, where we have something useful in every single show.
Not this show, it's all about the techno-lust.
Oh yeah.
That's not true, actually. There are several practical things to discuss on this show that will benefit you in your professional and personal lives.
I think everything is practical. For somebody out there.
There we have it. Worldwide
Yes.
Developers Conference 2017 took place this week. Apple's annual Festival of Glory.
Yay!
Yay! There were lots of developers in a room at a keynote. I took a lot of notes.
I was wondering if you watched it and enjoyed it.
I watched it. It was really long by the end.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Not surprised.
And I had to wait till the end to find out about something. But number one thing I was thinking about after the presentation yesterday, Steve Cook confirming Amazon Prime Video coming to the Apple TV later this year. The rumors were floating hot and heavy, and now that we know, well, basically, you'll be hearing a lot more about tvOS later this year, says Mr. Cook. But yeah, Amazon Prime app will be available on Apple TV.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So
I'm excited.
I am too,
and
yeah.
presumably Apple TVs will now be available on Amazon.com again.
I think the one thing, because I totally did not watch the keynote, I know. I didn't do my homework, but the one thing that I was interested in was this HomePod. Can you tell me about that?
Well, technically, it is not a UE. Is it the Boom? No.
It looks like the Wonder Boom.
It looks like the Wonder Boom. The UE engineers must be a little irritated. This is basically because Amazon's Echo and Google's Home needed more competition. We have the HomePod.
Oh.
And this is a crazy piece of engineering, and I'm kind of delighted by it. A 6-microphone array, a 7-tweeter array, a high excursion woofer, which basically means the woofer travels really, really far.
Yeah.
First time I saw this was like on a Sonos Model 1. The idea that
Jeez.
basically this is a really odd kind of like, well, we're going to compete with those people from Amazon and Google, and we're going to compete with Sonos because we really want more people using Apple Music.
Is it as expensive as a Sonos?
Yes, it is $350.
Oh, wow.
So,
okay.
excuse me, $349. So yeah, the whole point of having all of that stuff, all those multiple speakers, is beamforming. It uses 7 tweeters and precision acoustic horns with directional control. And if you scroll on their webpage, they're kind of like, oh, hey, we're going to sense the room and tune the music all by itself. And if you own a Sonos device, you're familiar with, they have the ability to tune the Sonos to compensate for your room by walking around with your phone and having your phone listen.
Right.
Fair amount of power inside of this thing. There's an Apple A8 chip tucked up in here. Works with Apple Music, supports Siri commands.
Cool.
Apple says it's not listening until you say, hey, Siri.
Sorry, everybody.
It's a thing with one of my children. Data is encrypted, works with HomeKit, so you can, turn off the lights in the bedroom, and it'll turn off the lights in the bedroom.
That's cool.
Yeah, so it's a year behind what? Google Home, which is a year behind,
but it sounds like
Echo.
it has some pretty sweet tech.
Yeah, it looks, I will be very curious to hear it and hear what it sounds like.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Okay, so what else is new?
Man, so I think the nice people at Apple have finally acknowledged that iMacs are a big thing in offices and for professionals because they've decided to roll this beast out. I like looking at this picture because it's so impossibly cool compared to this picture, which looks like a really, really slim iMac Pro. 5K screen, $5,000 entry-level price, maxes out at 18 cores on the Xeon processors and 128 gigabytes of RAM.
128 gigs?
Yes, this is a beast.
This is for professionals.
This is for professionals at a $5,000 price. Yeah, 8, 10, or 18 core Xeon processors. Yeah. And let's Vega graphics, go AMD Radeon Pro. And
that looks pretty.
It looks pretty.
Looks real pretty. I can see a bunch of these being bought in Hollywood.
Look at all of the space for memory inside of there. So yeah, it's pretty exciting if you are into $5,000 all-in-one desktops.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's funny, the reaction online was mixed between all right, we no longer have the tube, and I don't want my monitor and my professional desktop workstation to be integrated in one. MacBooks are finally getting Kaby Lake processors.
Oh, really?
And up to 50% faster SSDs,
Cool.
which I am delighted by. And a Mac OS is finally going to get its VR on.
Yay, that's so cool.
Yes, and this is kind of crazy. Their Thunderbolt 3 enclosure with an AMD Radeon RX 580 and a USB-C hub. Yeah, I'm kind of curious. So
yeah, me too.
That looks familiar.
Okay.
So, you know.
Lots of updates from Apple.
Mac OS support for Steam VR and HTC Vive. So
that's exciting. So
Apple goes VR.
What else do you have for us today?
Along with $5,000. How about this? An entry-level $5,000 iMac Pro or a $5,000 monitor.
Oh, man.
Okay, so we spend a lot of time looking for bargains here on TekThing. Covered some fantastic, like $200 1080p desktop monitors a few weeks ago.
Yes, we did.
If you're a content creator, an architect, an engineer, and you're desperate for more real estate to work with, if you want all of the pixels, if you can never have enough pixels on your screen, if you long to view massive RAW files in their entirety, or like rack up a dozen live charts and a few more apps in 1080p, each one in 1080p simultaneously, if you want to run Retina display pixel densities on a 32-inch monitor, y'all are gonna love Dell's UltraSharp 32 8K monitor, aka the model UP3218K.
Yeah, you heard him right. He did say 8K. 8K.
This thing is gorgeous, and the images you're seeing on it right now is like, I think it's 4,096 pixels by 4,096 pixels.
Wow.
Yeah, we saw the 8K Dell monitor briefly back at CES, but I've been using it a few days, eyeballs on, and the screen is freaking gorgeous.
It is.
It's flawless. 31.5 inches, running a resolution of 7,680 by 4,320 pixels at 60 hertz. That is 4 4K screens, or 16 4 times 4, which is lots of 4s, 1080 screens. It's ridiculous. Unless you're a photographer or work with massive images, we're talking about fitting 35 megapixel images unscaled on your desktop, though we can't quite fit the 42.4 megapixelish photos from Shannon Sony, which are 7,952 by 5,304 pixels.
Yeah.
That last 1,000 or so pixels on there just don't
Though I
work
will
out.
say, like, being able to see that picture that I took a year ago on that monitor, and being able to pick out the leaves and all the little grains in the bark, oh my gosh, it's so pretty.
It's crazy. It's not just about the pixel density, the number of pixels, like just about every other Dell UltraSharp monitor I've run. The colors are outstanding, and Dell's got Premier Color ready to roll, so you can connect it to an X-Rite colorimeter, so you can get it calibrated if you're the calibrating kind of human being. Yeah, bright, even, no visible hotspots, and 280 pixels per inch. You cannot see the pixels in this thing without getting some sort of magnifying glass out. Lighting's flawless, 400 candelas per meter squared. It's bright. And there's 3,177,600 pixels, which all throw off some heat.
33 million.
Well, that's why there's a ton of venting on the top of the monitor, because there's a ton of heat.
Not surprised. It gets a little hot at the top.
It does. Random note, you can run it in landscape or portrait mode.
And that's with the mount it comes with? Nice.
Yeah, and it's a VESA mount, so if you want to mount it on something else, it's a standard VESA mount.
Cool.
If you look across the bottom, you'll see 4 USB 3.0 ports, along with an upstream port to connect the monitor to your TV. To your PC, not your TV. You'll also notice there's no HDMI input.
Why is that?
Well, because you need both DisplayPort 1.4 ports to run 8K at 60 hertz. Yeah, if you yank a DisplayPort cable out of the back of your GPU, it'll run at 4K, not 8K resolutions.
Oh, I see.
And by the way, props to Dell for putting both DisplayPort cables you need in the box, so I didn't have to run around. Yeah.
I can't find DisplayPort cables anymore.
There's a couple over there, but they're still over there because I didn't need to borrow them because they were all in the box with the monitor. I love it when the cables are in the box.
Yeah, me too.
So GPU-wise, you're going to need at least a GTX 1070 or an RX 480 to run this, or one of the professional grade GPUs from either manufacturer. I had to buy a new GPU just to get dual DisplayPort 1.4 support. Though, I'll be honest, the UltraSharp 32 8K cheerfully ran at 4K resolution, scaled 150% on my old GPU, which seems like kind of a waste.
Yeah.
Because, you know, why would you run 4K on a $5,000 8K monitor?
Yeah.
So 8K resolution is insane. You know you've hit a new level of crazy when the Windows display settings change the size of text, apps, and other items is set to 300%. And just for fun, you scale it back to 100% and you realize you might need to borrow a magnifying glass to reset it to 300% so you can actually read text on the monitor.
It's so tiny. Seriously,
it is so tiny.
My eyes, my 31-year-old eyes, if I was like this far away from the monitor, I was like, I can't read that. I could not read it.
You're not going to be running this at 100% scaling for very long. I gotta be honest, after working with it for several days, my eyes loved it. Serious gamers are going to want higher refresh rates and lower resolutions.
Yeah.
I had fun playing Rocket League on the 8K monitor, but quite frankly, like the Rocket League and Steam looked at the monitor and looked at my card and set everything to 2560 by 1440, which scaled great.
Yeah, that's fine.
1080p video looked fine, though from 2 feet away on a 32-inch monitor, you will notice any compression artifacts on streaming video as it scales itself up to fit.
Yeah.
So that was kind of interesting. And of course, 1080p videos at native size are just a very, very small portion of the desktop.
1/16, I think.
Oh my goodness. I'll have to do the math. I'll double check the math on that because math is hard. You are not buying this monitor to watch Netflix. You're buying it to create movies, television shows, Photoshop awesomeness, engineering amazingness. It'll do Twitter and email and spreadsheets. Oh my goodness. Spreadsheets on this, you get all of the cells.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I just want to say that right now.
That's actually pretty nice.
Oh my goodness. I love high resolution monitors. My primary gaming machine is a WQHD 2560 by 1440 panel. I was one of the first of several folks in our community here to run one of Dell's UltraSharp U3415 curved ultrawide monitors.
I think we have 5 now.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's too many.
There's one in Shannon's house. There's several here in the warehouse. They're good stuff.
Yeah.
That ultrawide runs at 3440 by 1440. Way back in 2015, I spent most of a year running a 4K desktop. And this 8K monitor reminds me of running a 4K monitor back then, but more so, right? It's like you're going to need all the GPU and all of the cables. This monitor is way over the top, except for a few folks that have serious graphics needs. But for you happy few, with the need and the bankroll, Dell has you covered. The rest of us, it's a couple years out, or maybe never, because 4K is a huge stretch for most users and GPUs, and there's still a tiny amount of 4K content that you can play on a PC. For example, like, okay, so, well, I'm just going to stop right there because I'll just start talking about 4K content. Y'all will watch something else.
We'll keep on going on a tangent. But before he does that, write in with any questions or comments that you have about this amazing 8K monitor. It's so pretty.
It should be for $5,000.
Let us know what you think. Ask at TekThing.com, or you can tweet at TekThing.
We've seen all the pixels. We've bathed in the glory of incredibly expensive monitors. Bring us back, Shannon.
All right, I'm going to bring it back. Well, this is more business savvy stuff, I guess I would say. I get so many business cards, as you can see, at conventions. So I've been trying to minimize how much stuff I actually have in my life, including business cards. So I've been looking into a business card scanning app that will automatically read and decipher the text on a business card and import all of those details into a new contact on my Android phone. So after I tried about like 7 different apps, because I had to try the perfect one, had to find it. I'm going to give you my top 3, starting with one from Microsoft, as weird as that is.
Did any of them beat out the others consistently?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, one of them did. So my last one, I'll leave that for last. But the first one on my list is called OfficeLens, and of course you can find that over on Google Play. It is free, and this is an app for scanning business cards. You can scan receipts, all sorts of different things. It's kind of like Evernote. So it will automatically save an image to your device as a JPEG image. So for example, if I open up Visor, VYSOR, if you're interested in downloading this app, it's so cool. I'm going to open up the OfficeLens application, and I'm just going to cover up this person's phone number here so you can't see it because I don't want to share that with the internet. What you'll do is pop this over your favorite art shop business card, take a picture of it, and then it's going to save it as a business card.
All right.
There it is. Okay, and it looks absolutely gorgeous. You just hit the little save button at the bottom. Now here you can choose to save it either in OneNote as a contact and an image or just in your gallery. So of course I want to save it to OneNote because that is going to import into my contacts. Once I hit save, it will go ahead and wait to transfer and eventually transfer whenever I tell it to actually transfer over to my contacts.
So does it OCR it for you and create a contact?
It does. Oh, yeah, it's so cool. So it syncs all those images to OneDrive. OfficeLens uses that optical character recognition technology to read the card and then make it searchable so that you can easily find your data whenever you need it.
Nice.
The app also claims to work with English, German, Spanish, and simplified Chinese, though I was only able to use it with English because those were the only business cards that I have. The app does really, really well with reading text from cards, but the biggest con that I noticed is that you need a OneNote account to use the importing feature into your contacts. So if you don't want to use OneNote, then you probably won't want to be, well, you can't use OfficeLens. It's just going to make a gallery image, and that's no good.
And you could do that with the camera and the camera app that's
exactly
already built into your phone.
So the second one I decided to check out is called CamCard, and that one is also on Google Play. So it is a free application, free to download. The one I noticed about this is that it's very, very fast at importing text into the app via OCR technology. So again, it's using the same thing. So I'm going to open up Visor. You can notice here that I already have one card in there, but I'm going to click on the camera button, and I'll put it over the same card again, and try to get it nice and close. And then you take your photo. There we go. You'll notice it's kind of blown out, but it still brings in all that information.
It didn't quite get the font on this one.
Yeah, it didn't quite get the font. So it does automatically import those cards into your contact list, and it does a great job of reading the photos most of the times if it takes a good picture. But in the case of this one, and just like this, as well as my own personal business card, it was completely blown out. So for my business card, it labeled me as a digital media host instead of digital media host. Shut up.
There was a D and an M in there.
Yeah, I know. I think the in-app camera isn't all that great. I really think they could fix that with an update feature. All the data is available in the app when you click on any of the business cards, and then you can see the original business card as well, which is set as the contact's photo.
I was laughing several years ago. A friend of mine was like, "Why don't you scan your business cards?" I'm like, "Because I can type the information in faster than I can wait for it to do the OCR and then me to fix the spelling mistakes." This one's quick as long
as it takes a good picture. Okay. And in this case, like, it got the name right and everything like that.
That is a tough one because it's got sort of white lettering on a beige background.
So I'm making it hard. I'm making it hard for the app just for that reason. But like the previous one that I scanned for Secure Ninja, it brought that information in perfectly. Okay. So you can create groups of cards in case you work with different companies, etc. And this app does require you to set up an account to use it. And if other people use CamCard as well, you can scan their QR codes if you're like in their vicinity to make them show up in your own account. So you don't actually have to scan their business card too.
And that one is free also?
That one is free, yes. Okay. So my third one, and I gotta find this in my Google Play app account, is called Haystack. So this one is also free, and you can download it on the Google Play Store right there. This one is my absolute favorite. It's the one that I decided to go for. It is free for personal use with unlimited scans. Keep that in mind. If you do run a business and you want to sync all of your employees together in Haystack, that's going to cost a little bit extra, and I'll explain what that means in a second. So to get started, first off, you need to create some kind of account. So for example, I have a business card up here. It is tied to your work email, and then you can either scan your own business card or you can create a digital one. So for example, I have my own digital business card and I have the logo at the top. It's so cute. It is going to hide contact details under call, text, cell, email, and text. So keep that in mind. But if you hit more details, it will show you all the contact details that you're looking for. Now, if you did scan a card, at the very bottom, down underneath notes, it will show you that scanned business card. So I'll go ahead and scan the same business card again. Just hold it here. and get that picture. This one does take a little bit longer to read with the OCR technology. So as that scans, and it's upside down, so let's see if it actually works. Okay, so now that I actually scanned the card, it seems like it got it right. Let's see if it opens the website. Okay, it didn't get the com at the end, the .com, but it got most of the name correct. So it was close. We'll give it that. So when you create an account on here, you can choose to share your business card details with anybody else in your contact list who also has a Haystack account. They keep on doing the sharing thing amongst all the different apps. I kept this feature turned off just for my own privacy reasons, but it can be useful for businesses. I can totally understand why people would keep it on. I scanned tons of different cards into this app to test it, and I decided with this one for a few reasons. First off, it is really easy to use. It includes a logo for each of the contacts' businesses, which is a really cute little feature. So you get the nice little logo at the top. And it does make it much easier to search for somebody. If you're just browsing through and looking for like their logo or their image.
Hack 5!
Yeah, it's like, okay, there's the person I need. It does a great job with OCR most of the time. On this very tough card, it didn't necessarily pick up the .com, but it got most of the name right.
None of them are perfect.
None of them are perfect, yeah. So you always want to check and make sure. Yeah, every single time you want to use OCR technology, I highly suggest just reading through and making sure that it gets most of the information right. And if it doesn't, you can edit it. So it's not a big issue. And it automatically creates a new contact for me, so I don't have to do any additional steps like you do with OfficeLens, for example.
Oh, cool. So right in your Google account.
Yeah, so it does everything for me. So I can open up Gmail right now and like email the mom and pop art shop if I want to. I was not able to test any of these with other languages other than English, just because I don't have the business cards for those. Again, like I mentioned previously. Let me know though which application you use, because I'm always looking for a perfect one, and none of these are perfect, but Haystack does get very close, so I'm really, really happy with what I've found so far.
And as long as you're not using it in a work environment or to run your business.
Yeah, as long as you don't need to do like that syncing feature amongst your business employees, for example. It's like $4 a month for more than just one person. So you get access to an admin dashboard, and then the social media design, employee permissions. Exporting is a big thing for CRMs if you want to do a business account, so keep that in mind. But I think all of them do rather well with importing with the OCR technology. They all do awesome importing into your actual contacts, but of course I'm always looking for the best thing out there. So comment below if you have a better pick. There are a lot of them out there. I know Evernote has one too, but it's not free, I believe. You have to have the Evernote premium account, but yeah, correct me in the comments if I am incorrect on that.
There are tens of thousands of you and only 2 of us.
Comment below with your picks, or you can tweet them at Snubs, at TekThing, or at Patrick Norton.
Please do. Patreon.com/TekThing. TekThing patrons, they can watch our build videos, subscribe to an audio-only feed like a podcast, or check out videos of the edit of every show. And if you're a patron at the $10 level, you can join Shannon and I in our monthly hangout. Thank you for your patronage. You make TekThing possible. And hey, we understand if you can't donate. You got a question, curious to see us review something, got a tip or an idea, please fire them out to ask@TekThing.com. We do our best to answer each and every one. Thank you so much for supporting TekThing and Shannon and myself, no matter how you do it. We appreciate you.
Brent's wondering if he needs some new hard drives or some new hard drives and a new NAS. So he emailed ask@TekThing.com. I've got a Gen 2 4-bay Drobo connected to an old Mac Mini server that has been faithfully backing up my files for 8 years.
Nice.
The drives in it are around 5 years old, and I'd like to swap them out before they start to fail. Should I put new drives in my old Drobo, or should I get a new NAS while I'm at it? Time Machine support is a must. Windows and Linux support would be nice. I don't need to stream movies or music off of it. Thank you, from Brent in Westminster, Maryland.
Woohoo!
Thank you, Brent.
8 years!
Wow.
I've gotten like 5 years out of a desktop with upgrades, but man, 8 years, that's awesome.
That's a long time for some technology.
I hope my current NAS lasts 8 years.
Yeah, me too.
That would make me happy. Excellent plan. Updating drives before they start to fail. They're 5 years old. I think it's a great idea. Plus, you'll probably get a massive capacity jump inside of that Drobo. I mean, you know, a 1 terabyte drive, which would have been pretty big 5 years ago, is $62. 3 terabytes for $110. 4 terabytes for $136.99. Wow. Of course, I clicked on 10 terabytes because I lust for the 10 terabyte drives. But that's the 4 terabyte drive is a real sweet spot for a NAS box. You can totally put new drives in the old Drobo. And as long as it's not a Drobo Pro or a Drobo Mini, you can take the disks out of the old unit and stuff them into a new Drobo unit.
So cool.
Yeah, just make sure both Drobos have the latest updates before you start swapping drives to make everything as non-traumatic as possible.
Yes.
That said, man, if it's like a USB 2.0 only Drobo, 8 years is an amazing run. And I'm torn between being cheap and saying it works, and Time Machine works, and anytime Time Machine works, walk away from it, you're good. Don't fix it. That said, if you go up to Drobo, right, you go to the Drobo 5C, and you've got USB 3.0, you've got newer hardware, you've got faster speeds, you've got a much faster processor, and you could attach that to your Mac Mini, or you could kind of take it to the next level and get a dedicated network attached storage device, which would contain, in this case, this is a Synology DiskStation DS416J. They sell for under $300 without hard drives. It's got, 4 drives inside of there, and you attach it directly to the network, so you wouldn't need to run your Mac Mini anymore. Right. At that point, in either of those situations, you're going to get better performance. In the case of like the 5C, maybe only if you plug that Drobo 5C into your desktop. It may not be any faster running through the Mac Mini.
Might be more secure if the older NAS doesn't get security updates going forwards. Never know. You never know.
And you won't have to worry about your aging Drobo box dying on you. But at some level, once something's run for 8 years, it'll run forever.
Yeah, it might.
It might. For what it's worth, I have a Drobo 5D on my desktop at home and a big Synology 8-bay NAS, and they are both awesome. Drobo errs to the convenience over performance. I've seen Thunderbolt USB 3.0 boxes that deliver like twice the write or read performance of the Drobo.
Wow.
Well, that's the overhead from Beyond RAID.
Oh, okay.
The Drobos tend to be simpler and more convenient to operate. And it's I'm actually running for the Drobo box I have at home. I have a USB 3.0 connected to a desktop. So
cool.
It's a 5D, so I could do Thunderbolt, but USB 3.0 has been adequate for my needs.
Nice, nice.
Just saying. So hopefully that helps you out. If you're feeling good, buy some more drives, run the thing until it collapses.
But whatever you do, just make sure that you always have some kind of external backup as well. Something that's not attached to your computer, something that's at a different location, whether that's cloud or another machine in a safe somewhere on the other side of the world.
It's all fun and games until somebody in my family has another house burned down or an earthquake, or, well, hopefully not an earthquake because that would be us, or a hurricane. It's, Rod emailed ask@tekthing.com. Snubs, I travel a lot for work and was watching the piece you had about power banks for travel. Couple of things. Most aircraft I travel in these days have USB connections in the seat back for charging or running low power equipment. Also, on both the international flights I took yesterday, there was mains power outlets in the seat in economy. These are typically between the seats at CAF level. Most people don't see them, so don't know they're there. I was able to power my laptop for the whole trip. Getting off a flight with a fully charged computer is a big bonus. I took this photo for you. Note the outlet has power and USB connection integrated. Rod.
Cool.
Thanks, Rod.
Yes, thank you so much. So Rod is right. Lots and lots of different flights now have power in between the seats, either power outlets or USB outlets, or both on their planes. On my flight to Australia, for example, there was a USB port available in the armrest, which was interesting, between me and my neighbor. But there are a few cons, though, which are the main reasons why I still bring a trusty battery with me, no matter which airliner I am on, no matter what.
Spirit, I've yet to see any power anywhere inside a plane on Spirit, or Southwest for that matter.
Yeah, so I would not bank on a USB port or a power port being available and or working on the plane. So planes could be swapped, ports could be super low power and not be able to power your devices, or the port could be broken and then you can't change to a different seat. So also some planes don't have power to each and every seat. For example, I use a website called seatguru.com, which is amazing. It's so great for whenever you're picking your different seats. So in this case, I think this is called Economy Plus. These have power on a Virgin America's flight, but the ones in economy do not have power. So I always use seatguru.com to check before I actually choose my seat. But again, the airliner could swap a plane and stick you on a different kind of plane model, so you never know. I also don't trust USB ports that aren't from my own devices, and this is just my own personal...
You're the one.
Exactly, it's my own paranoia. Most of my really good cables are data and charging, so if the port was malicious in nature, that could cause complications. Luckily, Android does block those kind of things, but other devices might not, like my Nintendo Switch. I don't know if it has that capability. I don't really want to find out.
This may seem a little paranoid, but you know, you spend some quality time at a few hacker conventions, and suddenly you just want to keep your ports to yourself.
Yeah, and even sometimes, like, there's ways to make Android hackable. So it's just the thing. Trust no one. I am paranoid. So yeah, you can totally use the USB ports. Be my guest, especially if you have a just charging cable, but I won't. I prefer my own battery, and I like it that way.
Oh my goodness. Happy to plug my laptop into any power outlet on any plane at any time I can find
You can do it, dude. Let me know how it goes.
I'm not worried about being hacked through a 120 volt
See, I am.
yet.
I'm just paranoid.
I'm not that paranoid.
We also got a comment from Peter in Vienna who writes, "Hi, Shannon and Patrick, a little remark rather than a question coming in. I've just watched episode 127 about Android rooting. Please in the future make sure not to mix up rooting and custom ROMs. Rooting just means to install a root manager like SuperSU in order to use tools like Titanium Backup, Cerberus, or Greenify. You can usually root stock ROMs just fine. The only touching point between the concept of custom ROMs and rooting is that installing a custom recovery is often the best way to achieve both. Of course, that entirely depends on device and manufacturer. Sometimes it's easiest to root using an exploit via a tool like KingRoot. Other times, the custom recovery way is easier. Installing a custom recovery usually requires unlocking the bootloader, which again may be easy or more difficult depending on the manufacturer. However, once a custom recovery is installed, it is entirely possible to install a custom ROM without ever having to root, neither in the stock ROM nor in the newly installed custom ROM. Going back to root, in my opinion, there is still very many good reasons to root in the form of various apps. Attaway blocks ads on the whole system using a custom host file. AppOps refuses any permission to any app. Cerberus is a device recovery solution. DNS Changer forces the device to use a custom DNS both on Wi-Fi and cellular data. I'm pretty sure Darren recently used that. Yay hacks. DroidWall refuses internet access to any apps. Greenify is a safe battery app. Magisk offers many custom modules and replaces the Expos to a degree. Naptime is again for battery saving. Quick SSHD runs an SSHD daemon on your device, or daemon if you're cool like that, to access file system and console via network. Linux installers have Linux running inside your phone or tablet. I am sure there are many other reasons to root the device, some more relevant to many people, others not so important. However, I think that rooting and also custom ROMs are still very important. Cheers from Peter in Vienna, Austria. Yay! Thank you, Peter.
Yeah, thank you. One, I am absolutely guilty of oversimplifying for purposes of keeping the segment simple, and you make some excellent points. Also, great list of apps as reasons to root.
The DNS Changer one is awesome. Just saying.
I hear great things about it.
Yeah. What was it? Hacking airplane Wi-Fi? Don't ask.
I hear nothing. I know nothing.
It's good times.
Oh my goodness.
Thank you so much, Peter.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
Are you frozen? Did you freeze? I think he froze.
I was going to say something, but I'm not sure it's going to be done in time, so I'm not going to say anything about it. So yes, I literally just...
That about wraps up this episode of TekThing. Thank you everybody for watching. I am Shannon Morse.
And I am Patrick. I need a cold reboot. Norton. A hard reset.
We'll see you next week on TekThing.
Oh my goodness.
I was like, you just froze, and I was like, what's going on?
Do you hear that?
You okay?
That furious whirring noise is the hamsters
Is there a blue
inside
screen?
of my skull.
Hold on, I need a microscope to look inside your ear and make sure there's not a blue screen of death going on in there or something.
Oh dear.
Restart. Oh, he looks angry.
His hair wasn't supposed to be that short.
Oh. Kid got a haircut?
Son, yeah, oldest boy got a haircut, and apparently the barber didn't listen.
Oh.
He doesn't quite look like Marie.
No, not quite.
Not quite.
I would know. I caught an Electabuzz yesterday.
A what?
It's a Pokemon.
What fresh
You were like,
obscenity of youth is this?
Electabuzz.